I'm Margot Becker, and this is my piece Ariadne, which I made at Prairie Ronde in Vicksburg, Michigan. Intimidation. I didn't know how to get my body out into the space. It was really scary. It's so massive, and I've never worked this big. I usually work very small on a loom or with a needle and thread. And I knew that I wanted to weave out into space, but I had no idea how to begin. I felt very lost immediately because I realized that I wanted to make something that was completely out of my nature. I keep saying I'm bad at execution. When I'm weaving on my loom, I rarely have a plan, and I feel like I'm taking a walk through my piece as I'm weaving. And in this case, I had these dreams of making some grand, large piece, immediately knowing what I was going to do without meeting the space first. And as soon as I saw the space, I realized I had no idea. Walking through the space, I realized I, was surely going to get lost in the building too. So the string mechanism started as a game, but also as a way to force myself into space. It was a bargain I was making with myself as I was spinning wool, that I only had to be in the space as long as I spun. The string brought me a lot of comfort. It was a way back when I was going in, and it was something tangible and tactile to hold on to as my mind was swirling around this process and the space in general and trying to navigate it. In the first few days, as I was moving around the space, it was really about observation with the plan for a different, separate piece that I would create in the future. But then, by day 3 or 4, I started realizing that the most interesting thing was the journey that I was taking through the space and with the string. And I started making work that was weaving into the space and responding directly to where I was rather than observing. And I felt like I was more one with the building, and that the work became one with the building. To get back to the exit, I would always follow the string exactly as I went. It started being this looping back and forth pattern, and the way I was walking was much like a weft travels through a warp on a loom, of this back and forth and interlocking through the space. And I realized that the space itself could be a loom, and that I was weaving the warp into it, and then my body, my thoughts, the small pieces I was making were acting as the weft that was becoming the piece. In a way, it's a very delicate and slight piece, but it's also massive because it's, however long the mill is wide. I feel changed by the process and changed by the space, and also reaffirmed in my knowing that you must be changed by wherever you are, or else there's really no point in going out and driving across the country to make work in a new space. It's an interchange and it's an exchange. It's not, for me, it's not projecting myself across space. It's fully being in the space and interacting with the space. I feel like it's absolutely my work and of myself. And I feel recentered on who I am as an artist and how I want to make into this world.